Hello, we are the Casual Ramblers. I'm Will Taylor, and this is my co-host Jack Richardson.
Hello.
Here's episode 3.
Episode 3.
Just before we kick off, I think it's important for us to extend our condolences and give our thoughts out to everyone in Leicester over what was a horrific tragedy over the weekend.
Huge tragedy for just actually the world in general. Not
exactly.
just football. It's as well as everyone involved with Leicester. Involved in the club, supporters. There's more tragedy on the same day.
There was. Glenn, and obviously the fan at Brighton as well. So
really sad. You should never go to a football game and not come home.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it is important just to start off by placing on the record our thoughts and prayers to everyone that was affected over the weekend.
Massively, yeah.
And
just puts everything into context.
Exactly. It just shows you that football is way more than a game. But on with the show, anyway.
Yeah.
The show must go on, as they say.
It must do, yeah.
First things first, obviously, as we do every week, do the fixtures roundup.
That's right,
the results roundup, yeah.
And, Premier League this week.
Back finally.
Last episode we didn't have any, did we?
No, we didn't. No, it was the international break.
Back to the big boys, yeah.
Back to the big boys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, was there anything that you picked up in the Premiership over the weekend that you thought
I think for me, the most impressive must have been Bournemouth.
Again?
Big 3-0 win. Yeah, again, big 3-0 win to Fulham. They're flying, really, aren't they, for such a small club?
I mean, the thing is, they always say, don't they? I even remember, just speaking about Leicester, then when they won the Premier League, even when they were in the top 4, Ranieri still said every time, the aim is 40 points to stay up. The aim is 40 points.
I think they're halfway.
They're at 20 points now. They're only 1 point behind Tottenham. So they are at 20 points. They see. I mean, to be fair, Eddie Howe, what more does he have to do to be headhunted by a big club? He's took them from League Two to the Premiership. Obviously, with a slight spell at Burnley in the middle. He's kept them up, which no one thought he'd do. And obviously, we don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season. But to be sick, they're above Man United. What a start! I know he's spent a bit of money, but he's not got the budget of. Exactly.
Some clubs that are below. Look at Wolves, Everton, West Ham.
I mean, obviously, my thing is, it's unfair on Gareth Southgate to talk about another England manager, but for me, that's my choice. I think he's absolutely fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. It's like with Gareth Southgate, he's just done so well at the World Cup, and looking to the future, I'm excited for what he brings.
Absolutely.
But do you feel it's almost difficult because he's doing so well, Eddie Howe, but you feel like by the time you got the opportunity, it might almost be too late.
Yeah, exactly. What I do like about Eddie Howe, though, is there's like a football DNA with him, isn't there? It's a certain... He believes in a certain way of playing, and even if that means that his team loses 4-0, he will stick to his guns and he will play a certain way.
Well,
and it's attractive
like that
football.
Since they first came to the Prem. A lot of, especially a small club like Bournemouth, a lot of clubs come up, they play to survive.
As we've seen with Cardiff so far.
Play good football. They just want to play good football, entertain their fans. And it works, first of all, and they're getting big results. They're scoring a lot of goals. Another, three goals on the...
It was 3 goals on Saturday. The thing that I find notable so far this season is what you saw last season. I think, that when they've played Everton in recent years, that springs to mind, that there's been 8-9 goals.
Well.
Yeah, every time. They seem to be good at the back this year. I know there's been times where they've been a bit leaky, but they generally seem to be quite solid.
Pretty solid. Yeah, they've got a good keeper in Begovic.
They have.
That's always helpful.
But even then, they had them last year. So Eddie Howe's obviously done something right to get them playing like they are.
I'd love to know. I'd just love to see one of his training sessions because they're hardly the. You look at the players.
I mean, Steve Cook's been there since they were in League One. Yeah,
there's a lot of bang average players, and no disrespect to any of the players at Bournemouth, but
I don't think that's unfair to say.
When you look at a typical 6th place football club.
Yeah, you're looking at your Evertons.
You don't have like Simon Francis in the starting lineup.
Absolutely don't.
They are very, very. And I don't know if it's a bit early to be saying it, but do you think they should be England should start sniffing around?
Well, you think so.
Look at Callum Wilson.
Why not? Why not? I think that's the thing with England at the minute is they are starting to do it more so than they have done. But why not look at the younger players? Why not look at these players that are playing for Bournemouth? Why not give Steve Cook a can? Every year, the Premier League seems to have a surprise package. And everyone was saying it's going to be Fulham, it's going to be Everton, it's going to be these teams that have spent loads of money.
Almost out of nowhere, Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they could lose every game for the rest of the season and go down. You just don't know. You just don't know. But with 10 games in, they've got 20 points. They're already halfway to where they need to be, where they aim to be.
Yeah.
Why can't they carry on like they are?
I think they definitely can. Yeah,
I think they absolutely. Hopefully they do. I mean, like I said, I've got a lot of respect for Eddie Howe, and a lot of respect for what Bournemouth have done as well. Actually, to go from literally moments away from administration to turn around and be where they are.
And do you think they're a Premier League mainstay now? Are they a Premier League club to you, or do you still think they're?
That is a good question. I mean, as a team, as the individual players and the manager, yes. Looking at the infrastructure of the club in terms of the stadium, it just I know they do have plans to build a new one, but at the moment it just sort of seems like they're enjoying the ride a little bit. There's no. Whereas if the way I look at it, right, is if Newcastle got relegated, which we'll touch on in just a moment. Yeah. The aim is like that to go back up, and they have the fan base, the stadium, the everything to go back up. If Bournemouth drop to the Championship, they almost don't. Not that they're not, and again, no disrespect, but they look like a team that shouldn't be in the Championship? Do they look like a Premier League club?
Personally, to me, I think they are a Premier League club now.
But in terms of infrastructure,
in terms of infrastructure, of course not. There's bigger clubs even in League One. But for me, I feel as if they did go down, they'd have a lot of players staying within the squad, and they could carry on playing a similar brand of football, and that's where I think they could. I don't think they will go down anytime soon, but and you look at clubs like some of the bigger ones, say for example Newcastle, if they went down, all their players go. They want to be in the Prem or even in bigger leagues across Europe. I don't think you'd have that with Bournemouth, and although they haven't got the infrastructure, I do think they would want to go back up. And for me, I love having them in the Prem. And
I got an issue with that, because can you say that a mainstay Premier League team or a mainstay Premier League team if they were in League 2 10 years ago? I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
No. Well, of course you can't. But
they were. I think what they've done is incredible. There's no debate on that. That is, but I don't think it's fair to call them a mainstay club just yet.
You look at Southampton. They did a very similar thing just before Bournemouth. They came up the ranks. Ricky Lambert followed them the whole way.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not a great fan of the way Southampton play football, but I think they're another one that's sort of a Premier League.
That is interesting, because I would actually say that Southampton are a mainstay Premier League club.
Even though they've been in it a bit longer now, but they did a very similar thing to Bournemouth a couple of years prior.
Good point. Right, anyway, moving on, just further down the Premier League. Newcastle still without a win.
And struggling to score goals.
I genuinely think without Rafa Benitez, God knows where they'd be now.
It's funny though, because they're not getting results.
They're not, but
they still love Rafa.
You can't pin this on Rafa.
No, not at all. It's definitely not his fault.
It's not his fault. The lack of investment, as everyone knows, it's obviously a point away at Southampton. That is going to be a huge result come the end of the season, because I tell you now, both teams are going to be.
Both teams would have been looking at that game as a huge 6-pointer, and I think they've both. They'll be massively disappointed with the result.
100%. That'll be a huge game come the end of the season.
Because it will come down to it as well. I think the return fixture will be even bigger as well. That's going to be. They've definitely both circled that game.
Absolutely. I mean, what I did, the one sort of factor I feel sorry for in this whole thing, it's not Mike Ashley, it's not the players, it's not Rafa Benitez, it's just the fans. They are a huge club in terms of like we just touched on infrastructure.
Massive.
They get 50,000 at home every week. Spurs didn't even average that when they were at White Hart Lane. They couldn't, but they wouldn't have either.
They wouldn't have.
They've
got a really, really loyal fan base.
They're still getting 50,000 in the Championship.
Exactly.
What do you?
It's not. I just don't know what it is. It's the way it's being run isn't right. Mike Ashley really. It was so close to a sale. It's such a big club.
They were so close to a sale, and you just think if they had it done. The thing is, I don't understand. I know he's not particularly looking to sell, but if you're sort of like a foreign investor, you're looking at Newcastle United. That is a free ticket to the big time, because everything is in place. You put money there. Everything is in place to go and do something.
You've got the stadium there, you've got the fan base.
You look at how they put the money into Bournemouth, like we just touched on, how they put money into Man City, how they put money into all these clubs.
It's there.
Everything's there.
They should look at his example. Man City were not a big club 10 years ago.
No,
they were no different to Newcastle.
No, they were very similar to Newcastle. Yeah,
so why can't someone see that and just?
I think part of it is to do with Ashley. I mean, that they are, I think, in a lot of debt to Ashley's parent company.
Yeah, I
believe. So that's probably putting some people off. But is it time for Mike Ashley just to bite the bullet now, and because he just say, look, he's obviously not up to the job of doing it. He can't be because the club's being held back by him. A club like that
shouldn't be.
They're being held back by him. They've got one of the best managers in world football in Rafa Benitez, in my opinion. And they're at the bottom of the Premier League. Something is going wrong there, and the only person you can pinpoint it on is him.
Yeah, it would be. No, I don't think anyone else is struggling to do their job.
No, exactly.
There's select players that could perform better, but.
Yeah.
Some of those players shouldn't be there anyway because they should have a better squad if it was invested in.
This is a weird time for Mike Ashley, I think, because at the end of the day, they've had some poor managers. Like when they had Pardew, all the blame was on Pardew.
Yeah.
When John Carver came in for a bit, all the blame was on John Carver. Now they've got a good manager. The only person they can blame it on is the only person that has been at fault, which is Mike Ashley.
Yeah, this whole time. Yeah.
And I genuinely, in my opinion, think it's just time for him to walk away.
I think it was time a long time ago, to be honest.
I think definitely. He did say he's not going to leave till they win, even though. So he's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving just down to the
Championship?
The Championship, the Sunday football. No, Saturday night football, wasn't it?
Saturday night it was.
Saturday night football.
Leeds, Nottingham Forest.
Leeds and Nottingham Forest. Wasn't without its controversy.
God, yeah, the VAR
debate.
Roof.
Yeah, I mean. Before I come in and shout my mouth off about what I think about VAR, what do you think? I mean, obviously it was 1-1, good result probably for both teams after the way the game went. That Forest went up via a set piece and Leeds probably did deserve a point the way they attacked, but the manner in which Leeds got the equaliser, what do you think of that?
I mean, it's blatant. It was a handball. And if VAR had been in place, it wouldn't have counted. But personally, this is definitely an unpopular opinion. But personally, I don't think I want VAR, to be honest.
Why?
My reasoning for it is, as terrible as it is for Forest and their fans, they will most likely benefit from a similar decision at some point over the course of the year.
Do you think it balances itself out?
I think it's almost karma. Like it balances itself out. It happens to all teams, and there's no with VAR. I don't think football should be perfect.
Right.
Look at some of the great talking points throughout history.
Even 1966 World Cup final with did the ball cross the line?
We've benefited from it. We've also been against it with the hand of God. But imagine, as much as I wish it didn't happen, imagine if the hand of God didn't happen. That's a whole bit of history just gone. And as you say, I personally think it balances it out. And I just think it's poor for the fans when it's in the stadium. They don't really get any sort of direction as to what's going on. And it does add something to talk about. That's probably a controversial view on my part, but that's just the way I like it, my personal opinion.
I mean, I can't sit here and pretend I agree with you on that because I don't think you could be wronger, if I'm being brutally honest. Because I don't see how you can say something that is, you say the hand of God, massive talking point, massive bit of history. But it was a massive bit of history because he cheated. Argentina went through. I mean, granted, he scored a great goal there as well. Argentina went through because he cheated. He broke the rules of the game in order to do something that benefited him and his team. So VAR then, at the end of the day, football's all about the better team should win. The team who scores the most goals win the game, yeah?
Yeah.
So if you're cheating... And if you're scoring goals in a way that you shouldn't be scoring goals, like Kemar Roof did, like Diego Maradona did, and always how Frank Lampard's wasn't counted in 2010, then there's something not right. If you score a goal and it is a goal and it's rightfully a goal, or you score a goal and it's not rightfully a goal, should you then? Why should that go for you? Or that's my argument.
Here's the way I see it. Say it's a club you support.
Let's go Torquay United.
Let's go Torquay United. Say it's a huge game, right? One of your players bends the rules a bit to score a goal. You're going to celebrate it, aren't you?
No, don't. Yeah, of course you are.
And if it gets taken away from you, You might put your hands up and go, fair enough, it was cheating.
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly that. So that's what I mean.
Right. No, you're
and
right.
As much as it's horrible when it goes against you, when it's in your favour, the argument goes out the window. And as I said, I do think it balances it out, and that's why I think people should just get on with it. It's horrible when it's against you, but if you're in, if it's your team, if you're in their shoes,
I'm going to counter that with a point. So you're a West Ham fan, as I'm sure we've established on here before. Biggest rivals, Tottenham, right. So it's the FA Cup final. West Ham are playing Tottenham. Ball comes over the top for Harry Kane. He's 10 yards offside, right? Liner don't flag. He's 10 yards offside. He's literally stood on the penalty spot. The team are up by the centre circle,
Yep.
Ball comes over the top. It goes to him, 90th minute. Dying embers, it's 0-0. He sticks it in and the goal counts.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Are you saying at the end of that you're going to go, all right, well, that'll balance out or something?
Of course I wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't. No one would think that. But at the same time, if it was the other way round, I'm not going to complain about it. So it's like, when it happens, you're never going to go, oh, will I get a decision one day? Of course you're going to be against it. I just think, it could very easily go your way. And it's just, when it doesn't, you're going to be upset. But when it does, you're going to love. I
think on this one, maybe a casual Ramblers first. We're just going to have to agree to disagree on that because I'm very pro VAR. I think it was going to work. What we probably could agree on is that it can't go too far and that it's taken over every single decision. It's got to be key decisions if it does come in.
I think that's what it. Yeah, definitely.
They can't be doing throw-ins and corners and stuff like that. But then it's where do you draw the line, isn't it? That's
exactly,
the problem.
And then
that is the problem.
There always will be a problem because if the line is drawn somewhere, there will soon be a decision where people are going to go, oh, actually, that should have been used.
Yeah,
so there's always going to.
Yeah, I know.
Now that it's been introduced, there's going to be non-stop controversy for the history of football now. But we'll just see what.
That's just new football. Moving down another league.
Yeah.
Notable result in the Championship. Another win for Luton, who are quite quietly sneaking up that League One table, aren't they?
Luton's get promoted.
Well, you don't know. I mean, Luton in the Championship. Many years ago, about 10 years ago, that wasn't an all too unfamiliar sight, was it? They were a Championship team,
and then
not very quickly
became a
conference team.
A conference, yeah.
They were there for a few years as well, but. Luton in the Championship. Can you see that? My only point would be the year they were. I think about 3 years in a row with 10 games to go. They were top of League Two.
Yeah,
and they ended up finishing the playoffs and not going up. Even the manner in which they went up, they were top for a while. And then fell off, but still went up automatically because of their good start. That's
what I personally don't see them going up this year.
Right. There is a lot of strength in League One, isn't there?
There is. They're playing well, but they definitely won't get it automatically. And I just think the teams around them in the playoffs, if they do eventually get there,
Sunderland, Barnsley, Burton, you've got a lot of teams.
They are playing well, but it's still early, and they always tail off. And I think for them to have got promoted this year, they would have to add an even, almost impossibly better start than what they've had to.
Yeah.
That's my opinion of it.
Because they do very naturally fall off, almost like it's.
Yeah.
It's just what happens.
It's just Luton, yeah.
So. It'll be interesting to see the end of the season.
Of course it would be. Yeah, but
it would be good to see them
if we get to the end of the season and Luton are in the bottom half of the table. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be.
Yeah, I think you're right there. So into the last division of the Football League.
Yeah.
League Two. Recently promoted Tranmere Rovers, absolutely flying.
I can't believe how well they're doing. To be honest, I don't even think they was amazing in the conference.
Well, to be honest, you say that, but. Obviously, as I've mentioned loads of times, I'm sure I get a bit of stick from this from my mates, but I am a Talking United fan. We played Tranmere a few times. I went away to Tranmere, and every time you went there, as a fan in the conference, you just knew they weren't at that level. They should not have been at that level. I know there's no divine right for anyone to be anywhere, but they shouldn't have been at that level. Their fans are brilliant. The team was really good. God knows I didn't go up for 3 years. Because the team's brilliant.
They always struggled, didn't they, when it came to playoffs?
Yeah, they did. Sorry.
I think that's what it was. For me, they were a good side, but they didn't have that end product, that cutting edge.
That final game.
They didn't have. There was because other teams had something about them. look at Lincoln, they had a little bit of edge.
Even in the final that they did go up, their left back was sent off after 15 seconds.
Oh God! And what a tackle!
It's an awful
straight tackle, in. Let them know you're there early.
Yeah, there's that, and then let's let them know you're there early. And then it was awful. But even then, that they didn't do it easily, did they? They didn't just stroll up and against Bournemouth.
That's what it. And that's for me why I'm so surprised. But obviously, they are one of those sides that
to knock 5 past Crawley. Who were
at the time
they were level on points, I think. Yeah, near enough.
I think Tranmere were 1 point ahead, and that big 5-1 win against. It's hard. I mean, sort of at the time it was almost mid-table. It's not really a 6-pointer, but knock 5 past a team that's in.
Well, I mean, that could be like we just spoke about big results coming the end of the season. That could definitely be one. Absolutely. But yeah, like you said, it's just another one of them. If Tranmere, wouldn't surprise me if Tranmere finish in the playoffs, but. If you are a betting man and they get to the final, I would strongly suggest betting for the other team.
Yeah, definitely,
because they do struggle. No disrespect,
they wouldn't do it on first asking, I don't think.
No, they are a big club though, and I hope they do get back up the leagues because I do think that is where they belong. Dropping into non-league as we do every week, just touching on the National League. Big result for Fylde away at Maidenhead, wasn't it?
6-0. I think that's the biggest result in England.
It is in English football. That is huge. 6-0. I think the thing I've learned about Fylde, they've been up in the conference 2-3 seasons now. I can't think of what it was. Sometimes they'll go away or home to a team and they just won't turn up. But sometimes they just click and they just turn up again.
And then they just go through the years.
Exactly. But they've come to Torquay before, and you think, and I thought, these aren't. They've got a lot of money. They're throwing a lot of money at it. Are they actually the real deal? And then they go knock past 6. So I think it was either end of last season, right? Aldershot, really, they were even pushing automatic promotion.
They were last year.
They were properly going for it. They go away to Fylde and they lost 7-0. They lost 7-0 or something like that. And it's like, I don't understand. It's the only problem with Fylde is consistency. That is the only problem with Fylde. If they could be consistent, they'd be fine.
Because they've got that talent. They've got that.
They've got brand new ground, which is quite nice as well.
What can you say about 6-0?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you made sending off after 25 minutes. They really lived to regret that, didn't they?
No, I mean, I think Fylde scored in the first 5 minutes as well.
So
that's a penalty. It was.
So that's I think it was. That's not a great result for Maidenhead.
Lose 6-0 at home. Poor.
You should never lose 6-0.
I know they're struggling Maidenhead, but even your struggling side shouldn't. At home, you've got to...
No, I totally agree. Yeah. So obviously, that's all we've got for English. I don't think we can leave the results roundup without touching on the very important El Clasico we had over the weekend.
First one without Messi and Ronaldo for since 2007, 1-0 win.
I did see a stat that we'll talk about just now. I saw Kepa, I cannot pronounce his surname. David tried.
He's another Dave, isn't he?
Dave. Kepa Dave has conceded 4 goals in 5 games against Barcelona, who also moved from Bilbao to Chelsea. Courtois has played 1 game against Barcelona and conceded 5.
Yeah.
So he'll definitely be crazy. I mean, for Courtois, before we go into the game, talk of the next 2 managers being Conte or Mourinho, he must be absolutely tearing his hair out.
Yeah.
He must, because they were the worst few years in his career. He said that on the record himself.
And now there's talks of them too.
I mean, Real Madrid, again, controversial here. Are they nothing without Ronaldo now? That's very much what it seems like.
It almost looks like it. They're just really struggling to score goals. I don't know what it...
But you wouldn't have thought that, would you? I know Ronaldo
when he left, I thought they wouldn't struggle at all. But there must be something... I never thought he would be, but he must have been a really good leader. Surely, because surely they couldn't... They have such good quality in that side.
Yeah, they do.
Bale you look at how Bale performed in the Champions League final. Marco Asensio looks like a great talent.
Yeah, exactly.
Toni Kroos is a fantastic midfielder.
Casemiro is one of the best holding midfielders in
Sergio Ramos is still a centre back at the top of his game.
Absolutely.
They've got so much talent in that side.
You don't win 3 Champions Leagues in a row.
Not only that, it's a Barcelona side without Messi and a Barcelona side that hasn't been fantastic.
They're not even up there. Well, they're up there, but they're not.
They've never been fantastic, and they've still put 5 past them. It's
I think it's very much the old saying comes true in that form is temporary, very much in terms of Luis Suarez and Barcelona, but class is absolutely permanent.
Yeah.
And Luis Suarez showed that in abundance on Saturday. The way he played was just... I mean, did you see his... I think it was his third goal. He chipped it over.
Oh,
that was fantastic.
He's got so much quality, Suarez, actually.
It makes you wonder how he played for Liverpool for so long, doesn't it?
So well.
But they weren't a top team like they are now. And it does make you wonder. But 5-1, I mean, they've got to get rid, haven't they? Madrid. Not that I'm not pretending to be a Spanish football expert, but they're ninth with a goal difference of 0.
That's not Real Madrid.
You know
That's not.
And it is Real Madrid actually.
Well, but that's not.
They lost in the Champions League to, was it Spartak or something like that?
CSK Moscow.
Moscow, that was it. Let us down for about 70 quid, I believe.
Yeah, that game on the Sky Bet price boost. Yeah,
that's not advertisement. I just like to clear. But yeah, it's one of those things. You just don't know what's going to happen next.
Is it the manager? I feel because a lot of people are saying this without because Ronaldo's not there, but it's the new manager.
Zidane's gone. I think he knew exactly what he was doing, didn't he? Jumping ship.
Yeah, definitely.
You could see it was very much a case of the rat jump in the sinking ship. I think in that it was
absolutely. It was capitulated.
They capitulated absolutely. They have. But fair play to Barcelona anyway, and I think the Liga, come the end of the season, would definitely be interesting because it might not be Madrid or Barca that win it for a change, which would be nice to see.
Potentially. What if Madrid don't even make the Champions League?
That's unthinkable for Real Madrid, isn't it?
But is it a similar situation to coming back to England the years after Alex Ferguson left Man United, and as well as him, you got like Paul Scholes running gigs.
In a sense, yeah. But not. It's unfair.
It might not be as drastic.
It's unfair to compare what Zidane did at Real Madrid to.
No, of course. I'm thinking more of the aftermath.
In the transitional change. Yeah, I totally agree. But I mean, at the end of the day, the thing with Real Madrid is that they can go out in January and they can spend 700 million and get the best players in the world. It doesn't matter. Yeah. If you get an offer from Real Madrid, you'll go into Real Madrid. Yeah. Eden Hazard wants to go to Real Madrid. He'd go to Real Madrid. They're bottom of the league in January.
I think anyone would still, because they're such a huge.
They are arguably the biggest club in the world, and you would love to go and play in that. At the Bernabeu, in that famous white shirt. That's a lot of people's dreams. So I don't think recruitment will never be an issue. But no, I do think it's very similar to. It's
interesting.
It is. It should definitely be interesting. Football. It should definitely be interesting to see what goes on. So sticking with European football, away from results a little bit, because we are now talking about the individual.
Yeah, but
a certain young man, Mr. Sancho,
from England,
who we very much like on this podcast. We speak about him.
Huge fan.
Quite often. 2 goals again at the weekend.
Jadon Sancho, and
funnily enough, they were 2-0 up. And do you know who scored their last minute winner, a last minute equaliser for whoever they're playing? I can't remember who they are. Salomon Kalou.
Oh,
funnily enough, yeah, old Chelsea player. I generally.
Is he still playing football?
He's got to be about 50
He must
now.
have grandkids. I'm sure
he's got to. He's got to. There's no way he's still playing. But he was the guy who scored.
Absolutely legend of the game, Solomon Kalou.
He cancelled out Sancho's 2 goals.
But
he's 18, and we've said this before, and I'll say it again. English players, please take note. Please take note.
Please just take risks.
You're not going to get a chance in the Premier League in this environment, in this landscape. Go abroad.
I do hope he's.
Maybe we're building up too early. Maybe we are.
Yeah, but it's.
It's the top. It's a top league. And I was saying this the other day, right? If he's 18, Brazilian, he's gone to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
For 50 million this window. Look at Dembele. Dembele has. Ousmane Dembele, you moved to Barcelona. Very similar stats to Sancho. 100 million after Neymar left. Obviously, I don't think they'll be able to charge 100 million for Sancho. Maybe they will.
In a way, though, I'm glad because, as you said with Ousmane Dembele, he's hardly flourished at Barcelona. I know he struggled with injury, but when he has played, he's hardly flourished. And
I would agree.
Personally, I'd like Sancho to stay at Dortmund for a bit longer. Hopefully, he can take the club to great things, but. I don't want anyone to sweep in for him just yet. And least of all, I actually heard rumours of Man City going back for him. I'd actually hate for that to happen. He didn't want to wear the badge.
The funny thing is that sums it all up. that sums English football up in a lovely little nutshell.
Look how many times Chelsea have done it.
Yeah, you literally have a play. Chelsea are the worst for it, but you have an absolute diamond, and you're not willing. He said, I think he literally said to Guardiola, I'm ready. If you're not going to play me, I'm going to go elsewhere. And he left for Dortmund.
He was right. He was ready.
But I think Dortmund ended up paying about 5-6 million for him in tribunal fees or whatever it was in the end, because he wasn't on a pro contract. I don't think when he was there. How much they would pay 10 times that to get him back at City? They'd be looking at 60-70 million easy. I think for Jadon Sancho, a young English talent. He's 18 years of age. He's an England international, and he will be an England international from now. Yeah. So, I mean, the only thing is, like we said, you don't want a similar situation to Theo Walcott, where you just burn. Not that you compare Sanchez to Walcott, but where they're burning out early. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you don't want it to get to his head.
Happened with Rooney as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't want someone to come in and buy him. As much as I think he's a great player, I don't want him to become a superstar just yet, because he's still needs to be nurtured.
He's not, because he's still coming off the bench for Dortmund. He's still not starting. He's still not one of the first names.
I don't think that's so much a bad thing.
No,
I think they're doing it on purpose to keep him.
It's nurturing. It's nurturing. Which Dortmund have. You look at Lewandowski, Götze, Royce,
Marco Royce.
That is the best place in Europe for him to be, arguably, isn't it? They have a fantastic reputation of cultivating young talent.
And they do it so well. They do it in the right way.
Absolutely. So, obviously, best of luck to Sancho in the...
Hopefully one day we'll be talking about him on this podcast as a much bigger...
Yeah, hopefully he'll be on this podcast one day, that's the truth. So briefly, coming away from football, just to touch on it, I think it's important that... we do have a little look at Lewis Hamilton winning again in Formula One, and he's going
for
a
title now. Yeah. I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves. He's a superstar. He's an absolute rock star in the world of racing. But when you look at figures in sport, he brings Formula One to sort of.
Don't get me wrong. The guy makes enough money, and has enough sponsors to be. But you look at just who's bigger for you, Harry Kane or Lewis Hamilton?
I think Lewis Hamilton, personally.
No, but who's more recognised?
More recognised would be Harry Kane,
yeah, exactly.
Definitely. But
who's achieved more is Lewis Hamilton, isn't it? He's an unbelievable feat.
He makes Formula One cool.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He's the poster boy, isn't he? But the thing I like about Hamilton is that he's come for a lot of adversity. There's been people he's raced with that he doesn't like.
Yeah, and he's been controversial.
Yeah, and he has. He's won it 5 times. I mean, I sound like a Liverpool fan now, but he's won it 5 times.
He's still only young as well.
No, he's got a few years left in him. Because he started so young, he's got a few years left in him, 100%. But I think, again, it's one of those things you very much take for granted. Like when Joshua and Fury and everyone aren't in the boxing scene, we'll probably very much take for granted what we had in the heavyweight division. Yeah. Do you see what I mean?
It's not often England hasn't superstar.
No, exactly.
He is
and because he's been there for ages, he's very much like, oh yeah, Hamilton won again.
But it's actually,
really why is he not winning awards? Why is he not winning Sports Personalities of the Year and stuff like that? He's an unbelievable athlete.
And why is he not our greatest?
Yeah.
When you look at why is Andy Murray so much bigger than he is?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They're very similar in terms of achievements. Why?
I'd argue that Hamilton's achieved more.
Yeah.
Don't not take nothing away from Andy Murray. Obviously, what he's done before winning Wimbledon is fantastic.
It's interesting as to why he is so much of a bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting, but that's just one of the things. I suppose that's sport.
Regardless of how he's recognised, great sportsman.
He is, model professional.
Fair play to him. Another win. And that did it really with relative ease as well. I think in the final race, he only had to finish in the top 7 to win the title. So,
fair play to Mr. Hamilton there. Moving back into the world of football,
a bit of a debate this week.
Yeah,
actually,
we have seen over the weekend of football
a lot of diving incidents.
Yeah, and I feel
2 bookings for Chelsea actually.
I feel like this might be something we could potentially disagree on. Do you want me to start?
Oh yeah. What's your views on it? Actually, do you think?
I am, as a few people who probably listen to this know, I am a referee. I'm a qualified referee, not at a top level, Sunday League sort of thing. And
I thought you said not at a top level.
Yeah, nice one. There is absolutely, positively no room whatsoever for diving in football. It is cheating. It is the same as picking up the ball and throwing it in the net. It is awful. If you are deceiving a referee who only gets one look at it, to try and benefit your team. It's exactly what we spoke about with VAR. You're benefiting, you are cheating to try and get something, and that is not what football's about. It lacks integrity, it lacks decency. It is literally horrendous, and you just can't condone it. There's no, he got a touch so he went down. You only go down in the box if you physically cannot step because someone's taken you down. You can't go down because you think you might get a penalty and there's contact. You can't do that. That's not fair. I hear people say all the time, he's gone down. He's been touched, so he's gone down. He's been caught, so he's gone down. He's got to go down to win the penalty. He hasn't got to go down to win the penalty. If there's not enough contact for you to go down, it's probably not a penalty. If you can still control the ball after you've been clipped or whatever, and you can still get a shot away, then you should get the shot away. If you're going down, it sums up everything that's wrong with modern football. Diving, I think it literally sums up everything that's wrong with modern football.
My view on it, as opposed to a referee, I've played regular football at a decent enough level, better than Sunday League, for the past...
should have said, mate, sorry.
I should have said. For the past few years. From a player's perspective, I think...
This is interesting, because I've never heard it from a player's perspective.
If there's... a lot of the time... From a player, it's very difficult to actually go down. As you say, if there's not enough force to go, it's very difficult to be tackled and actually fall over. So they make it. You think it's very easy by the way it happens on TV, but I'd say a good 90% of tackles the player goes down when they don't.
But if you're not falling over and you're not being knocked off the ball, then play on. No,
so it should be that easy, but it's not. A lot of the time it affects you, but you're not going to fall over. It's very, if you're walking along the street and you stub your toe, you're not going to fall over, but you're also going to struggle the next 3 steps. It's like, the thing is as well, when it's in the box, it's this whole new ball game, but it shouldn't be. If that clip happens in the middle of the park, you'll get the free kick. There'll be no one will care, but you'll get the free kick and no one will think about it. As soon as it's in that 18-yard box, it's all of a sudden this whole big thing. But so you saw it with Wilfried Zaha against Arsenal on Sunday. For me, penalty. There was contact there. It was laziness in terms of he made a meal of it. Don't get me wrong.
It's not a penalty.
But he was clipped, and also the same with Anthony Martial.
Could he have got the shot away?
I don't think he could have. And I think if that, as I said, if that contact was there elsewhere on the pitch, there wouldn't be the debate.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
And also, it's my last point. Sorry to interrupt, but how many times, as a fan, has one of your players been clipped in the box, tried to be a hero, not gone down, and you say, "Why didn't you just go down?" Yeah. How many times have you said that?
No.
And when you're a player, that is in your head. You're thinking, if I don't go down, they're gonna have a go at me. They're gonna say, "Why didn't you just go down? Why have you tried to be a hero and tried to get a shot off balance?"
For me, I get what you're saying. I get that point. Why people saying why aren't they going down if it's a foul at somewhere else? But that problem isn't then with the fact that it should be a penalty. That's a problem with football. That if football's got to the point where you're thinking, should I go down to get this to benefit my team? Should I essentially, in a lot of cases, fake something, over exaggerate something in order to benefit me? You shouldn't be doing it because football is an honest game. It's a decent game. So to be going down looking for things when you probably shouldn't, when you're exaggerating things, for me, isn't okay. I don't think you should do that.
And you are right, as a referee, you shouldn't deceive the referee. And it is, but as you said, it's just a problem with football. And I think that's something we've got to come to terms with, the way
football has gone, though, penalties are now, I can tell you from experience, and I'm really at the FA, don't listen to this because I'll get in a lot of trouble for saying this, but penalties are no longer about if it's outside the box. Yeah, if it's a foul outside the box, it's a pen. For me, anyway. Because if you get clipped inside the box and you can still hold the ball, and you can get a shot away, it's all about that.
The argument usually is like impeding the goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If it's
as a player, if you've been clipped and you can, if you feel it, your goal scoring opportunity isn't the same. It has been affected. It might not be gone entirely, but if you had an 100% chance of getting a good shot off, and now you've got like a 75% chance of having a bit of a dodgier shot, your chance has been impeded. Now, obviously, it is unfair to, it is unfair.
It's contextual, isn't it? Yeah.
But the thing, your shot is still affected, and I don't know if that's fair. If a defender has put in a lazy challenge or has done something a little bit cynical to affect your shot.
My argument isn't if they do something cynical, because if a defender does something cynical or something stupid or something rash, it's a penalty. That's not up for debate. It's a penalty. But if the defender sort of, and it's, you see defenders standing with their arms, I was about to say like this, no one can see. You see defenders standing there with your arms up, and a player will leave their leg in for the defender.
Now that's where it's a different story. Now in that case,
that's what I mean by diving as well.
When an attacker trails a leg looking to get caught, now that's terrible. I don't agree with that, because you can get a shot off. Yeah. Nothing was going to affect you until you went looking for the penalty, and that's just cowardly. Yeah. It's when there's contact and they don't. It's when there is genuine contact and they go down. That's not diving anymore to me, because when they don't go down,
it's interesting you say anymore. You said that's not diving anymore.
Yeah, because when they leave a leg out, that's diving. Or when there's no contact, they jump over.
But would it have been diving 10 years ago?
What, leaving a leg?
No, but I mean, the things we've just spoke about in Zahara and stuff. Is that 10 years ago? Is that a dive?
I think it's difficult because football is changing. And that to me that was never a dive.
But over the weekend, say Willian, is that a dive 10 years ago?
Oh, 10. Yeah, because he wasn't even touched Willian.
Exactly.
And I think
it's getting worse. The protection of the players is getting worse.
And that's where it changes for me, because with incidences like Willian, where he wasn't even touched, I don't think the punishment they get is good enough.
Did you remember the first game of the season this year? Chelsea played Huddersfield.
Yeah.
And Marco Alonso went down for the penalty. That's never a penalty.
No.
That's never ever a penalty, and that's. Again, not really a case of was it a dive, was it? It's just that's literally just because people are being protected. Like if a player goes down in the box, we especially saw this at the World Cup. There is a lot, and that's sort of linking back to VAR, but there's a high chance they're going to get a pen for it. If a player goes down in the box, they're going to get a penalty for it. That's the way, and that's what's wrong. Because because as a result of that, they know that if you go down in the box, you're going to get a penalty. So players go down easier, which encourages diving. Do you see where I'm going?
Which is poor, but can you blame them? Really? Like if you was in
as a referee, yeah. As a football fan, no.
And at the end of the day, it's their job. If they I don't think it's.
I don't think that's their job.
No, diving's not their job, but playing the game is their job. And
but playing their game, their job is to play the game honestly and decently.
But can you blame them? If because look at it this way. Look at it this way. If the state of football as it is, it's become part of it. Maybe it shouldn't be, but if it's now the state of football, if you go down, you like to get a penalty. Can you really blame? Like personally, I can't. But
no, fair enough, mate.
It's one of those situations, and I think we're going to have to probably wrap up on for now because there's something
very
bigger for us to talk about
absolutely.
And finish up on.
Absolutely.
We touched on it earlier with the tragic events of Leicester.
Exactly.
And I think it's only fitting to just sort of finish off on sort of looking back at the memories that the owner brought with whole winning, fairy tale season.
I'd like to go before that. Because Leicester was stuck they were a Premiership club, but they were stuck in the Championship for a very, very long time. He came in and he invested, and he believed. And my thing that I loved the most about what the owner did for Leicester, they got promoted and they were what I think it was something ridiculous, like 8 points off with 6 games to go. They
could have gone down easily that first season.
And he stuck with Nigel Pearson.
And the second one.
He stuck with Nigel Pearson, and he literally he believed in him to get him promoted. He got him promoted, and he just stuck with him.
Yeah.
And because he stuck with him, he kept them up. Whether Pearson, and Pearson obviously for very, very controversial reasons, which was absolutely right, got sacked the year after because of what his son did.
Yeah.
Fine. And he should have got sacked for that. But, the fact he stuck with him said it all. To appoint a manager like Claudio Ranieri to be as shrewd as... I think one of the best things about the owner, obviously, that we should touch upon as well, is the way he recruited his staff and the way he treated his staff.
He did it really well.
The fact that there were the scout that got all the players in for the Premier League winning season. Kante, Mahrez, Fuchs even was fantastic.
I know,
And it's just tragic to say that that's a man who gave the city of Leicester everything, experienced
You
something.
saw the scenes afterwards when they was on the bus with the trophy. How happy, like everyone in the city just came together.
It was a dream.
It's often called the most diverse city in England, and
it was.
Everyone came together. Everyone was the same. Everyone was equal. And
I don't know about you, but on Sunday it was a day literally praying that somehow there was another miracle at the King Power. That somehow something hadn't happened. Do you know what I mean?
It'd be amazing.
It would have been. It would have been. It was always far fetched, but as we said on Twitter, it was. I was really praying for another miracle because it's really not what someone who was so committed, was so devoted.
He was such a huge part of that club, wasn't he? And he was.
He delivered a fairy tale. That's the only way I can look at it.
To go from struggling to survive in the Prem to the following season, winning it with games to go, winning it with games to spare.
A lot of people seem to forget, but I remember a playoff semi-final many years ago. Quite a few years ago, and it was Watford, the Leicester.
Troy Deeney.
He was there then.
He was. And you know what the greatest thing is? When he first took over, he said, within 6 years I want to be in Europe. And what did they do? Within 6 years they'd won the Prem and got to a European.
I think what I like is that even it's awful. It's one of the most awful things I've ever known in football in the times I've been alive.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that he had a dream with Leicester.
And he got to fulfill it.
That is the one thing that sticks in my head. It doesn't take away from the tragedy. It doesn't take away from what the club, his family must be feeling. But he had a dream.
In a situation as bad as this, the one thing you can take away from it is he did fulfil the dream that he said he would. He gave the city of Leicester that the miracle and that just amazing feeling of just like happiness and success.
Exactly. I mean, it's an awful tragedy, but. But at the same time, I'm glad such a great man was able to deliver such happiness to such a diverse city. That's all I can say.
Hopefully, he's remembered the way he should be.
Exactly.
And it would be amazing to it's been amazing so far seeing how they've remembered him and the tributes.
And the way they will, I'm sure that we'll see over the next few weeks will be incredible. Just before we finish as well, I think we should just extend our best wishes to Glenn Hoddle. Speedy recovery, Glenn.
Yeah.
That's not a person we want to see. We want to be losing anytime soon. Absolute legend of English football.
Hopefully he is
fantastic. There's a great story just quickly. Paul Merson, I think it was Italian 90 or Euro 96.
Yeah.
And he was petrified of taking penalties. Glenn Hoddle walks into the middle of the pitch. He puts his hand on the middle of his chest, and he said, "You will not miss." And he didn't, and it was because of that. And Glenn Hoddle was
great man,
a fantastic is a fantastic man who hopefully will pull through this,
and he will remain to be. I hope
exactly. Who will hopefully pull through this. Finally, obviously, big condolences to the Brighton fan who passed away on the weekend as well. A truly tragic weekend of football. But just put us into context. The one nice thing that's been lovely to see is the way the football community's come together. Regardless, you're West Ham, my Premier League team's Tottenham, but if there was a memorial for anyone over the weekends, obviously not Glenn Hoddle because he's still fighting, but if there was any memorial for the Leicester owner, for the Brighton fan, we would go arm in arm.
Yeah,
and support that, just like every other football fan would across the world.
Any rivalry is forgotten.
Exactly, and that's been the one nice thing that in an awful tragic situation that is very nice to see. So obviously condolences to the Brighton fan, Brighton as a club as well. It must be hard for them. Obviously massive condolences as well to the whole of the Leicester City family, the players, the staff, the owner's family.
Really
terrible time, terrible weekend for football. But hopefully things can get better from here for everyone.
Yeah. Definitely, that's what you hope for.
That is as well, unfortunately, all we have time for today. So on that note, a very sad note.
Very somber note to finish on.
Exactly. Very much enjoyed the debates today.
Yeah,
it's a bit different.
Good episode.
Good episode. Okay, so as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, and also please do any sort of comments or anything you want us to talk about. Would be happy to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Give us what do you want us to talk about next week? What do you want us to debate next week? Let us know. Thank you very, very much for listening from me.
And from me, thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.